That was it? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. This is part 2 of our Friday Couch in the Rue, presented by our friends at Firekeepers and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. And we, of course, are answering your Groovy Donut Twitter questions. I apologize. We've never actually done that before and just had to do. I mean, this is part of the deal. Like, you know, if you're Colin Cowherd doing a show, you don't have.
Yeah, it's the same thing as this.
You don't have like another
Cowherd
job
show's
that's your primary gig that you have to occasionally.
And they also have like 50 people on staff.
Right. So you don't have to do that. So
Very jealous of these podcasts that have like 13 people that work for them. Must be nice.
Well, we'll get there someday, or not.
Another 10 years.
Another 10 years. We'll get there for sure. But yeah. Anyway, we are digging into your Groovy Donut Twitter questions as we mentioned, and let's continue.
All right, David Jackson next. Since no one but MSU or Ohio State fans care about Michigan spying on teams for 3 years, why should anyone get worked up about whatever Mel Tucker may have done years ago? No one in the country thinks the NCAA cares any longer. And with today's rules, what can anyone even do that's bad?
Well, it's a good question. And I don't think people are that worked up about what Mel Tucker may have done years ago in terms of like.
But it's just boneheaded and what was going on at the university in the past years, right? And
no. It was
sexual survivor that he's doing it with. It's just all wild.
He should have been fired for the stupidity. No question he should have been fired. I'm talking about worked up like on this. This is such an outcry. What kind of like he was an idiot for doing it. That part of it. You can't be somebody who does that and then leads young men at the same institution right after it. So that that's not anyway. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know why should anyone get worked up or whatever. I don't think people should get too worked. I mean, if you still are a believer in all the rules that used to be in place and the ethics of everything, it's going to be a tough ride for you with college sports. It really is going to be a tough ride because none of this stuff is really being that well enforced.
Next one from David Jackson. My best friend is a classmate of mine from Ole Miss and lives in Memphis. He has assured me that Whitehaven Rush end Corey House is the real deal and will be an early contributor by his second season. Question: should we start celebrating this class of 2026 MSU recruit now or wait a bit?
Wait a bit, as we just got into. Like, you don't know where his second season will be played.
Is he a fringe 4-star?
If his first season is at Michigan State, we'll see. If his second season is at Michigan State, we'll see. Like, yeah, you don't celebrate it now. And it sucks because this used to be something, and don't get me wrong, players are getting flipped in college football for a long time. It's probably worse now, but it's worse now because there's the NIL component, and somebody can come in and there's just nothing you can do sometimes, or somebody comes in and wows somebody with money. The other thing that I think is important for people to realize, and this could work to MSU's benefit, it could work against MSU, is that the season will happen and momentum will go one way or another for a team like MSU, and there will be a school out there that has. Like Indiana, for example, has momentum right now as a program. They may have a shit season, and all of a sudden, all that momentum's gone. And all of a sudden, they're not as much in play. So, but I would not celebrate any recruit now because it's not real yet.
David, now be honest here. Feel free to review photos. Here's the question: is Skubal overweight, and is that likely to shorten his career? Let's look at some photos. I don't give a shit if he's fat. Like, he's not, but I mean, come on, look at David Wells back in the day. He was fat and he was freaking hungover as hell and threw a perfect game. I don't care. He's a horse.
Yeah, and I think
Skubal's a horse, dude.
Pitching for some guys, and Pedro Martinez didn't really fall into this, but for a lot of guys, like, part of having all that momentum and velocity is your ass, right? You got to have a decent ass, and the guys, it takes some strength. I mean, you see a lot of pitchers with power who are bigger guys. Roger Clemens, bigger guy, right? And
Husky,
yeah, good.
It's like that farmer's body. It's not really fat.
Yeah,
like what fat looks like,
right?
Right?
Yeah, and we've seen fat pitchers where it definitely hurts them, and they're sweating all the time, and we've seen those guys. I don't view Tarek Skubal as somebody who has like a raccoon problem with his raccoon gram problem with his weight,
Moneybag, after seeing the punishment Wisconsin got for self-reporting level 2 violations and cooperating, do you still think MSU gets off without much harm for the Tucker violations? Does it show cause for Sharon Moore seem more likely?
I still don't think what MSU did was based on the little I know. Again, there might be what Wisconsin got a year probation and a fine, right? It was not like when Michigan State get a year probation. I don't know, and I don't know what probation means anymore. It depends on what and again, that was I think it was impermissible phone calls to recruits. I don't know the extent of everything with MSU. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I continue to think that. In terms of Sharon Moore in Michigan, I'm very curious about this because to me this in some ways looks like the NCAA's last stand. If they are annoyed by Michigan and annoyed partly by their lack of cooperation and Sharon Moore being a repeat offender and all that stuff, like I can think that they want to have a little bit of a hammer here. And if they don't, I think the problem for them is going to be a lot of people are going to say, they have no teeth anymore at all.
JB, if you had to assign each Big Ten football team a fast food restaurant to match their vibe, where does MSU fall, and who would be Groovy Donuts?
So Michigan State is what? Spicy but inconsistent, you know? Who makes a spicy but inconsistent product? All right, that's what you're looking for. I mean, Popeyes is pretty consistent. Who's inconsistent?
Not you, apparently. Your bowels are good.
Sometimes it's great. Yeah,
you never have to run to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's
consistency.
But you're looking for spicy but inconsistent. Think of a Mexican restaurant you can't trust, and I don't want to name any, but everybody knows them, or a food truck you can't trust. That's MSU. That's
you
MSU.
Do you have restaurants in your life that you can't trust? Like, why would you frequent them?
Well, I mean,
what are you talking about? Why would you not trust a restaurant? Like, I would go one time. I'm like, I don't feel very trustworthy.
Well, sometimes it's incredible. And you yearn for those times where it's absolutely incredible.
There's no way the food can overcome uncomfortableness and not feeling safe.
Groovy Donuts, though. I mean, what would Groovy Donuts be? Groovy Donuts has got to be. I mean, it's probably like a.
You could just do the live read. You don't have to take this seriously.
No, but it's Oregon football, right? It's Oregon football. It's a fairly young power that mostly always it just delivers, and their fan base is into it. Everybody's happy, because it can't be Ohio State because Ohio State's miserable unless they've won it all. Like there's just too much joy out of Groovy Donuts to be Ohio State. It's got to be Oregon.
I got to say that was pretty good.
Thank you.
That's good. Bill McLeod, when will Spot the Cat appear on Couch in the Rube? Are you negotiating a NIL deal, and would you tell the owners the payday was coming?
So what this is referring to is I did Sheehan's show, Lockdown Spartans, and it was just after we had done our show, and I got home, and Spot's waiting there outside the door to be let in because he wants to.
It's not his home,
right? But he knows he can get fed. So Spot comes in, I feed Spot, and I go into the other room and fire up the camera on the computer and start doing the interview with Sheehan, and then Spot finishes, and usually Spot will just chill and whatever, but Spot comes into the room. One of those times that Spot wanted attention. And I'm in the middle of this interview, and so Spot just jumped on the desk behind me, sat there for a while, but his tail came flying over you could see the tail, and that's what it looked like in that picture.
Do his owners not feed him?
They feed him. Spot's getting fat. Spot's getting fed by – Spot's running game on a number of homes. We're not the only two, his owner and us. I'm pretty sure of it. I've seen Spot come out of other driveways that look from other houses.
Were you mad?
No, it's Spot's protective of us, but we let Spot he
was over here last night. His tail was on a live stream, so enjoy it for one night, but he's over here most nights.
David S., assuming our offense will take a step forward, how much will the pass rush hold us back? If it's anything like last year, I can't imagine more than 5 wins.
The pass rush is the pass rush was really bad last year, and it was costly because even if you're decent at stopping the run, if you can't get to the quarterback, like that is a real concern, and that's I think the biggest concern for this team, even over the offensive line, which I strangely have feelings will be. I am not going to say it because we have to see it at this point, but there's I feel like
matchup proof.
Well, I just feel like when I look at the defensive line, I don't see how they're improved. When I look at the offensive line, I can see how they could be improved. I'll just put it like that. And so, and maybe I'm missing something either way there, obviously, because I always do. But if you can't get to the quarterback, it's a problem. We saw it with the Lions. We saw it when Aiden Hutchinson gets hurt, and They didn't really have the pass rush they did before, and they had a lot of other
Still
injuries.
won 15 games.
They did, but the offense was everything, And so, absolutely.
Bend don't break defense. David S. next. Last week, Couch called me David Ass. Almost my favorite slip next to really good penis.
Really good pianist.
But he was trying to say pianist.
And I was trying to say
Really
S, too.
pianist.
David S. David S. S. Not
Really
good pianist. I struggle with pronunciations. Bagel is the biggest one. Really good
Vegas.
pianist.
Vagus. How do you say Vegas? Say it.
Vegas.
Vagus. Andrew Gauthier is, I thought other people were working this story. Really an appropriate response to a serious cheating scandal that was perpetuated, whatever that word. Yeah, right. At MSU by 2 other schools. Maybe I just noticed negative press about MSU more, but it seems like this story has always less juice than it deserves.
I don't know that Connor Stallions being on the sidelines for a game MSU won easily. I mean, it is a serious cheating scandal, so it is that, and it's a fair criticism. It absolutely is, and it's partly a criticism of beat partners, of media in general. Of when I was in Kalamazoo, by the way, Kalamazoo Gazette back in the day.
Part 2, we didn't know that.
Yeah, and so there would have been somebody at I mean Drew Ellis, for example, at the Mount Pleasant, was it Morning Sun back in the day, would have absolutely done that story working locally. Like he was a good journalist. They used to have better journalists covering all these teams, and but it's a fair criticism. I didn't, and it is fair to say that I didn't think of it as big a deal as I should have either.
Andrew Gauthier, is it funny or is it just sad that I asked my buddy what his fam is doing for him for Father's Day, and he said, "Bro, it's Father's Day, not Mother's Day."
I mean, to each their own, but I think it's a little sad. If I was a dad, I'd want the royal treatment.
Yeah, but you
Father's
don't
Day.
push the kid out though. The woman does all the work, so then they get the Mother's Day love and
Father's Day is still a big deal. I know I have friends who like Mother's and Father's Day are the 2 biggest holidays of the year. It is the day that nothing gets in the way. They don't go to church that day. They don't do anything. Like, that is the day for them, right? And I can see that. So I think it's a little sad.
yeah. Andrew, what's your pick?
Look at you. You're going to treetops because of somebody else's Father's Day.
Yeah, I know.
That's a hell of a Father's Day.
Goddamn, I love Father's Day. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
This is going to be a great Father's Day weekend. Celebrating a father. Andrew Gauthier, what's your pick from the Groovy Donuts Father's Day lineup? The options: cookies and cream, maple bacon fritter, Dad, D-A-D donuts, or Irish coffee?
All right. So the Dad is basically it's the letters Dad, D-A-D, and they're different. The D is topped with rich chocolate icing featuring crispy bacon crumbles on one corner with fine caramel drizzles on the other. The A shines smooth with caramel icing finished with bacon crumbles on one corner, chocolate drizzles on the other. So, I mean, you just can't lose. It's a great, the DAD. It's a fantastic.
Can't even describe it without slobbering.
Oh my God, it's wonderful.
Maple bacon fritter. Therese
Yes.
loves the fritter. She said you can't go wrong. So
It's maple bourbon bacon fritter. It is. In fact, I think this is what I ate the first time I ever had it. Was you saw me eat it at the ballpark as a bun. It was like a bun on a burger.
I did,
and it was damn near an orgasm. And it is.
Take it easy.
It is. I'm sorry.
Take it easy, Mad Dog says.
All right, so I would just say that the maple bourbon bacon fritter is if you've never done it,
Take a bite and say it 3 times fast.
But all of them are. Look, if you're looking to do something special for the dad in your life, want to let them know you love them, want to bring joy to their life, Groovy Donuts, they bring out all the stops for Father's Day. Go to groovydonuts.com, place your order today. Obviously 2 locations, Lake Lansing Road and East Lansing, also in Williamston, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thursday through Sunday. Get those orders in, and you can have it ready for you to pick up. Just take your dad to Groovy Donuts or just swing on by. I was there last week, got a box for my wife and I, and also got a bag for myself that she never knew existed.
Scotty Green's El Camino. I Googled how long until people go to Mars. Maybe 2029. Will MSU do anything about CMU by then? G Couch, will you ask Jay Batt about this?
Yes. I mean, the CMU thing is got Jay Batts has to be asked about it at some point. And, I'm not sure when my first sit down with him or conversation with him, or even if it's a group setting, will be. But it's because look how important it is to everybody. Like you're like the fifth person who's brought that up. Today it brought up every show. Like the anger towards CMU, the venom about that situation. It's important to fans, so it has to be something now he may just decide they're going to let it go, and people will have to. But as you said, or as somebody said earlier, was it you even said, like the best way to win over a fan base right away would be to deal with the CMU thing at least with a firm hand.
Oh, you mean Batt? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Then go to Will Tiemann.
Batt and Will Tiemann. Yeah.
In that order. Thomas, I know this is a spoiled perspective, but will Casey Mize ever get better run support this year? A bunch of his starts I've seen recently are accompanied by some really pitiful offense. Yeah, he's been unlucky.
Yeah, but he wasn't very good the other night either.
He wasn't.
He was getting out of some trouble, and it could have been a lot worse than it was.
He strands a lot of runners, though. Like, it's up in the 80% range.
I give him credit.
He has a lot of runners on base, but he gets out of jams, it seems.
He seems to be a much more mentally tough pitcher than he used to be. Like, the ability to get out of stuff.
Well, when you have a year and a half to sit around and focus on shit, I mean, yeah.
Like Jackson Jobe. Yeah. By the way, I mean,
you know what the best part is? I'm like freaking Jackson Jobe news, and here comes Couch with his copy and paste mother effing take about how pitchers should have right out of the womb they should have the Tommy John surgery, and I'm just like, God damn! This guy doesn't miss shit. For a guy that hates Twitter, he's always on the ready for whenever there's something that's going on that's going to be devastate Detroit fans. Couch is always ready with his fucking copy and paste.
If you just look at the number of guys now who have Tommy John, it's almost every pitcher, right? It's a lot of them.
Right, and it wouldn't be as bad if you didn't have to miss a year and a half.
It sucks.
We're talking about the playoff push at 26 or whatever.
But better now than 2 years from now because you could lose Skubal and Jobe together, and now you get Jobe back 100%.
Like you make sense. I'm just saying it just blows.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. No, it sucks. I mean, I would struggle as a GM to draft pitchers high because I'd be like, these. I mean, it's just all these guys are going to go through.
You're going to have a veteran staff that you just.
I would draft bats and spend free agency on pitchers. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would be almost my whole deal. By the way, Harry just texted us and said goodbye JT and Rory. So apparently they did not make the cut. Yeah. So that's
well, they're still playing. I think Rory's still playing, but I think JT did miss the cut.
Okay,
he's way over. So
nice.
Yeah, Harry. Thomas, next. Which baseball team do you hate the most? It's the Yankees.
Yeah,
it's simple. I will tune in. I have the MLB package. I will tune in. If they're getting beat 10-4, I'll sit there, and if there's nothing else on the second TV, I will put a Yankees beating on the second TV.
I think the Angels I started to hate for a while because they cost us that year. We had the Tigers bet going, and then we jumped on it at one point, and then the Tigers swept the Angels or vice. I can't even remember what happened, but they cost us. And I resent the Angels for the amount of wasted talent they've had there. I mean, just how poorly they've run that thing.
Right, but they're not any good, so it's really like it's a wasteful. Like I know what you're saying, but are you going to bet against them to try to get some vengeance back? But
do you hate the Dodgers based on how they're?
The only reason I do not hate the Dodgers is because of Mary Hart. I love Mary Hart. I turn on Dodgers games just so I can point at the TV and look at T and go, "Hey, babe, it's Mary Hart." She goes to every home game. I want to win the lottery so I can turn Treese into the Mary Hart of Comerica. Like that is my long-term goal.
She's just there.
Well, I would be there with her because I won the lottery, so we're retired together.
Yes,
but
and we do this show.
Yeah. Matt C, do the Tigers win a championship before the Lions this year? Right?
Could happen. In the beauty of this question is the Lions don't have to screw anything up for this to happen. Like it could happen this year because just based on the schedule, it would happen before the Lions Super Bowl.
Right.
That you want to talk about a fall of all falls. If the Tigers and Lions won a World Series and Super Bowl back to back, I mean the city. I mean it would just be. It would be fun. It would be fun.
Matt C. Graham, are you working on any sources to find out what's going to happen to those U of M scumbags after their NCAA hearing? Break some news on the pod. Be bold.
I mean it's going to come out. I don't think anybody has. And maybe Ross Dellinger, who's really well sourced. But I don't have sources in the NCAA. And so you're probably not going to get it from me. And if I had it, I couldn't break it here. I mean, part of the thing with as you saw today, we're doing a second part to the show because I had to get off to do an interview.
Because of Bob Nightingale.
And, I mean, that's just
Sorry, Adam.
That's...
Thanks for Couch for having my back in part one.
I mean, it's part of the deal with the LSJ. It's part of the reason we never – I mean, I like the way we do our show. We don't do a ton of guests because part of the deal with the LSJ is if it's an interesting guest that the LSJ would want an interview with, I'd have to do that with them first before doing it.
Because all of the hard-hitting interviews the LSJ has. What kind of excuse is that?
That's shitty. But, I don't know. We'll fix this in post, Matt. I apologize. This is a shitty answer to you. You just want some journalism, and I'm telling you to fuck off, and that's not really cool.
Just a blatant lie. Like, wow. Matt C. Jason, have you been able to parlay Graham's lube expertise into a new sponsorship yet?
It's a good idea.
Seems like a layup for sales. Plus, I'd love to hear Graham have to do a KY read every show. LOL.
I think I would find treadmill lube over KY because
First of all, no one knew that treadmills took that much lube, so then it's not going to be a hot seller.
I overdid the lube. There's no question.
Are you above doing a read for KY jelly?
No,
lube?
I would happily do KY jelly lube.
We got to do this.
Yeah,
we got to get it. King Lion, thoughts on Michigan basketball landing 7'1" Malik Cordell?
The roster. I mean, I think they had landed on him already, but he's actually going to be there this year, right? So, they've got a great roster. It looks like from afar. We'll see how it all comes together. It's complete rebuild as it was a year ago, and so you never know for sure. But they got a good coach, and they seem to really understand how to use the portal. But they have yet to have a year where they brought a lot back either. So it's new chemistry, it's new leadership, it's all that stuff.
Mickey Peterson. Have you heard?
Patterson.
All right. Have you heard some of the negative commentary on Doug Wojcik's son getting a spot? Did it take from any potential others?
I don't think so. I mean, it's either a walk-on spot or it's a scholarship because they're not using their scholarships. It's not like he's a guy they went out and identified as a scholarship player. But he's been a Division I player who's, I don't think it hurts to have a guy who's your, third point guard, in a real pinch for a little bit, who's been a Division I player, who's seasoned, who's going to understand his role on the team. And but I've heard a little bit of the negative commentary, and I don't know where that stems from. I mean, the whole team is, Izzo's son played, Barry Sanders' sons played, Steve Smith's sons played. There's a lot of that stuff going on. So I don't know why Doug's son would be any worse.
Next one from Miki. What's your favorite Moneyball Pro-Am memory? Tum Tums 55, double nickel at the Pro-Am.
I think it's the breakout stuff from Miles Bridges still. That year that he was going into his freshman year when he showed up, and that, they're playing at Aim High, and that place really took off. I just think that was there was such an energy to that building and such hope for what was coming, and such a high-rising player at a different level than people had seen there very often. And obviously Cohen Carr has done that, but Bridges did it first, and people were there was an excitement. There was a lot of fun.
Next one from Mickey. Are you going to do the golf outing that helps fund the Pro-Am on July 23rd? You, Rube, and a couple listeners?
So they do
where is it?
It's Desmond Ferguson's basketball camp is what it really helps to fund too, and it's on July 23rd at the college grounds in Okemos. I don't know. We could look into that. I don't play a lot of golf these days, but Jason's playing 72 holes this week, so he'll know.
This might be the end for me. So I don't.
Yeah, but if I was going to play an outing, playing Desmond Ferguson's outing would be the one I would choose. I have started to say no to outings for about 10 years because how
often are you being asked?
I used to get asked a fair bit.
Oh, really?
And the problem was, two things would either happen. One, you would get asked and you'd be put as like the celebrity in a group, which I hated. Because you know who else might be in their group?
A celebrity?
Like Tom Izzo. Right. So they sign up for this thing thinking we may play golf with Tom Izzo and they get Graham Couch. So they're just disappointed right away. They're like, oh, my God. And then I suck. So it's not only am I disappointing by who I am, but then they're like, this guy's not even good.
It's like when you open a box of basketball cards, they put in these older Hall of Famer guys like an Alex English, who is a fucking legend, a top 50 player, unbelievable player, but to a like 15-year-old, who the hell is Alex English? And you get one autograph per box.
That
and
sucks.
You're so ripping it. So this kid probably hates Alex English forever. Like, oh yeah, that's that asshole I got of that $400 box of cards.
And so that's the way they would feel about me. And then beyond that, I would only play if it was, we were teeing off from different holes throughout the course. If everybody was teeing off on the first hole, my first shot sometimes just sucks, and I did not want to tee off in front of everybody. So I would always ask, like, how.
The fact that
setup?
you think you're like a celebrity.
I'm not. That's the thing. That
and
was my
B, that
concern.
you have you would have rules of like a rider of what you would need to have to happen. I mean, it's literally just a golf scramble. Like, no one gives a shit.
Right. Only time that happened to me, I didn't know I was getting lumped in like a celebrity. Because I'm not a celebrity. They just asked me if I wanted to play.
I mean, technically, it depends on where.
And then
it
they
is.
said we put you in the foursome as one. I was like, oh fuck, that's not. And they weren't that distant. They were. It was great. But anyway, that
some people would be excited to golf with you. I think.
Yeah. I don't know. Story we're telling, presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing. If you're looking for a date this weekend, brunch on Sundays, just a drink after work. My favorite, the American Stout. It was always at Midtown. Great. They make some unbelievable summer salads and lighter offerings. Great comfort foods as well. Their chef is just phenomenal. They're at Midtown Brewing Company, 402 South Washington Avenue in downtown Lansing.
Sparty Ben next. Rube, the first day of the U.S. Open was an all-time ass. An albatross and a ton of birdies. Are you effing kidding me? This is supposed to be the one golf tournament a year where we are supposed to hear we have lost the golf course. It's too hard. And I don't see that happening this year.
It's coming back. I mean, there was
a hole-in-one today, Sparty Ben.
But the scores are still low.
Dude, tune in right now.
Or high, I mean.
Yeah, everybody's firing. So I think Scotty barely made the cut.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to get even more brutal over the weekend. Sparty Ben, did the neighbors call the cops on you after finding out from Locked On Spartans you're the one who's been kidnapping their cat? Apparently they don't give a shit.
Well, they've come by. They know the cat comes over. We had this conversation.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah, they came over looking for the cat before a storm, the week that everybody lost power here in Lansing. They wanted to make sure it was – Spot's not helpful because Spot's government name is actually Peanut, but we call it Spot. But do
they know that you changed the name?
No. But what's funny is –
You've never slipped.
We were trying to act like, we let Spot in here and there, but we don't really, we don't encourage it or anything, and we don't know the cat that well. And immediately Spot just came up and like hung out at the base of my leg, and then went up to the door like waiting to go in. I was like, oh shit, you're not playing it cool here, Spot. You're not helping us out.
Wait a minute. So the owners actually don't know that you changed the name of the cat.
Correct.
So they're really not excited about you guys having the cat all the time. So you've actually lied.
We didn't lie. They even asked us.
You're changing the name of the cat too.
We have our own name. We didn't change the cat's name.
So when they come over looking for it, and you're like, okay, is the cat around? You're like, oh, let me go see it. And then you change it to Peanut.
We did. So when we started calling it Spot, it's because it has a couple spots on it. We didn't know the actual real name. So we called it Spot for like 6 months when it was only an outdoor cat that was around our yard and whatever. That was before we knew the actual name. It does not respond to either name. So, like, I'm not worried about it. Like, if you say Peanut, does not look at you. You say Spot, it does not look at you. So these are,
Oh, yeah, by the way, we changed the name of the cat. Here you go.
By the way,
see you guys Friday.
If you have a cat in your life, a neighbor's cat that you want to celebrate in any way, Groovy Donuts is here for you to do it. They will put a picture of Spot or Peanut, whatever you want to call it. They'll even have a peanut butter donut if you want. Go to groovydonuts.com. Again, graduation open houses, if you're hosting one, I'm telling you right now, this is a major, major win. Go to groovydonuts.com, place an order today, make that part of your open house. If you're showing up at an open house, like I am this Saturday, go to groovydonuts.com.
Do they know you're coming?
You bring donut. No, I'm kidding. I'm not just showing up at random open houses.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's out of bounds to ask you. That's the craziest thing ever.
I would show up to random people's
You're
open
fucking
houses?
outside track and field competitions looking for a future wife in your 20s. You coach soccer teams. Their kids aren't even on the team. I'm so sorry that I would think that you would show up to some graduation party without knowing.
But
It'd be one of your neighborhood things. Everything's weird. You stole a cat. You changed the name of it. Now that's fucking craziness.
I did think about it at one point. So I went to an open house a couple years ago for the son of a friend of mine, and
Jim Hayos.
It was not Jim Hayos, but. Anyway, I was sitting at a table with a bunch of like older black women. It was just me and them, and they thought I was the funniest thing ever. Like, and nobody's ever laughed at my jokes like that. Not you, certainly not my wife. And I thought I just need to start going to more events where I can hang around older black women because they seem to get me. These are my people, and I didn't know this. And so, that thought did cross my mind. I walked down the street with so much confidence back to my car, like I was a freaking comedian. And it's not happened very often for me in life. So
do you remember any of the material? I mean, like you were slain.
I mean, I'm sure I dropped the better face for radio thing, and they thought it was amazing. I mean, it wasn't even that funny. But then you get rolling. Once somebody laughs at something you say, then you start to feel yourself a little bit. And it was, and I don't think they were just humoring me, because I know when I'm being humored. This was genuine. Those are my people.
You're the best, dude. You really are. Jarrett, which NBA Finals team do you think will not make it back to the finals for a very long time? The Knicks, because you can't do it without a coach.
Well, when's the last time they made the finals? Like
99. It's going to be even longer.
I think he's talking about these two.
Oh. Who cares about the series? Series stinks.
I think Oklahoma City will be back regularly, and I think Indiana's got a chance too, because I don't know. I think there are a lot of teams that are good, but I don't think either one of these teams can be bad for a while. I mean, I do think I've started to think Indiana may win this thing. I mean, just because they just seem to wear out Oklahoma City.
You were telling me last series, OKC minus 290 to win 100.
I liked it.
Fuck.
I'm a moron. Yep.
That happens. Ken Chu, Graham, what do you think about the Florida Panthers now that Taylor Swift is part of the fan base?
I didn't know she was.
Her and Travis Kelce were at the game.
Really?
Last night. Yeah.
One of 4 fans. I think everybody else is just a cardboard cutout like COVID.
I don't know who they were rooting for, though. I don't know if they have they didn't have any gear on, so I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense to be a Florida Panthers fan.
You just hate the South and Florida. What are you talking about? Spartan 231, why does everyone care about height in basketball? Height as a stat alone does not matter in basketball, other than that is correlated with standing reach. Standing reach and wingspan should be what we list on rosters and starting lineups. Having a long neck or head doesn't help in basketball.
Yeah, I mean, there's a tiny bit of help, but not a lot. You're right. Standing reach, wingspan is everything. I remember I used to play in the post in a pickup game against a buddy of mine. It was like half an inch taller than me, and I struggled so much. And because he had a 6'7" wingspan, I got like a 5'10" wingspan. I got these short little stubby arms. My wife calls me Stubbs, so like.
And a long head.
I'm just not, I'm Larry Bird without the height. But wingspan is hugely important. And that's what Jace Richardson, for example, has going for him. It helps to be tall too, but he does have a wingspan.
Spartan 231, I have been enjoying the playoffs and a little bit of baseball too. But man, there's not enough sports going on to distract me from all of the shit that's going on in the world right now. People suck. Any recommendations for sports events to watch coming up?
Club World Cup's going to be fun. The MLS teams against, and the Mexican teams against the European clubs. I think there's going to be some fun games there. Wimbledon's coming up, trying to think what else would be a good sporting event for you. Tigers are, the thing is the Tigers give you something every night. Like when the Tigers are bad, think about what that's added to us, man. Like every night the Tigers are on, it's like, I'll watch that. And, for previous years, unless we had a bet on it the other way, it was like, I don't really care what's going on here.
I still tuned in. Grinded it last season out.
Crushed tape?
I crushed it. Yeah. Crushed a lot of tape, yeah. Scott, Jesse McCulloch has been spotted in a walking boot this week. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Liz Frank? That bitch. Any updates on what it is or the extent of the injury? Also, how this shift plays for next season? Definitely more Kohler at the 5.
Well, I've heard it's the same usual, stress reaction fracture type deal. I don't know, I don't know any specifics. I haven't heard anything about if there's anything worse than that. But if it's just what it normally is, so much better that it's now than in September or October. Like that's really what cost Jackson Kohler his season, because he didn't come back till January, and then so much is already in play, and he's trying to figure it out when he was a sophomore. And so, if you just do the timeline on that, so say it's legitimately 8 to 10 weeks, he's back in September before practice starts. And so I still think he's an important part of this team. I think it's tough to lose part of a summer. But he wasn't supposed to be the starter anyway. But no doubt. But how it changes the season, if this were 2 months from now, 3 months from now, I would say it might impact the season more than it will. I still think he'll have a big impact. And I also think Kohler is going to play some 5. But there are lineups that I love with Jackson Kohler at the 5, and like Cam Ward at the 4, There's just all sorts of. There are a lot of creative lineups, and a lot of them involve because of some of the wing and fours they have. Kohler playing the 5, he can rebound that level, and he can score there. The question for Jackson Kohler will be: are there certain 5s that he may struggle to defend? But the other guys aren't always that much better at it, and there aren't that many of those centers out there. So I mean, I see a lot of, regardless of the health of McCulloch, like I see a lot of Kohler at the 5.
DMB, my old boss used to say, perception is reality. If Wojo is perceived as an MGO fanboy and nobody reads his MSU articles, why does he cover them?
Well, the job is to be a statewide columnist. And is he perceived as an MGO fanboy by people outside of the MSU family? But his job is to cover everybody. And I don't know that perception is everywhere. I think it's strong, certainly in the Twitter community of MSU. There is.
But does he really need to come down to the Batt press conference, though?
Sure.
Really?
He's their column.
With the way newspapers are struggling for money now, we have to send a guy. I mean, he's getting paid to drive up here, right?
But it's not money. Him or Neo need to be. To be there. One of them needs to be there. You're the columnist for the paper, for the news. If you don't go, people will be mad at you for other reasons. Like you don't care. Like you can't win that scenario. He's got to be there. Somebody's got to be there.
DMB, is Long John Silver's a money laundering operation?
Have you been to Long John Silver's?
I have not been in forever. Yeah. I'm talking we're talking 20 years. Is there still one on the south side there?
I was thinking at least high school for me, maybe even. They used to. I have a memory of being at one once, but that's
fish and chips.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Josh L., when the fuck did Ebling become a Michigan basketball insider? If Michigan continues to try to poach players like Braden Smith, how will Izzo respond? Will Jay Batt tighten the screws and force Izzo to spend some money for once? That was 3 questions.
And maybe is Ebling a Michigan basketball insider? Did he have insight that
you're asking me?
There was a report that Michigan tried to get Braden Smith. So Jay Batt tighten the screws and force Izzo to spend some money for it. Like Izzo's not sitting there going, "I got a pile of cash here and I'm not going to spend it."
What accent is that?
I don't know. Is
that an old timey guy?
Yeah, it's old timey.
You're never going to catch me, Kaba. You see? Yeah.
Like Izzo is when he needs something is like extreme money. He still has to make an ask for it. Like that's a thing I mean that's a Greg Williams proposition or something like that. It's not just and so
who? Oh, well, the donor.
I'm sorry. Donor, yeah.
Dare I not know that?
Yeah, it's not Bob Nightingale that he's asking.
G.E. Miller, F, Mary, kill. Hondo, human, stout.
What are you doing here? I mean, I felt all of Fred Human.
I mean, I got to kill Hondo, right? I'm not fucking Hondo.
Definitely not.
Yeah. That's a tough one, the F part. I guess I'd marry the Dean. Dean sounds like a guy that you could marry, go on some trips.
So you kill Fred Human?
No, I'm killing Hondo. I guess I'm going to feel all of Fred Human for real.
Yeah. I mean, I felt all of Fred Human.
I guess I got to F Human.
See, I don't know who would be more fun to hang out
I might
with.
have to start drinking again.
Just hanging out at
like a lot. Jesus.
Playing Keno with Human. I don't know. I could do that.
While he ignores you, staring up at a screen.
That's marriage, right? So maybe that's the marriage.
I have never seen someone so focused on fucking Keno than Fred Human at a bar. And I understand he didn't want to talk to me probably, but I was like, holy shit, this guy, it's numbers on a board. And then you go scan the slip. I mean, it's the worst way to gamble, I feel.
This question is proof that everything in life is relative.
Done Field Keg next. Does Doug Warren love salsa music? I love his gambling update music beds, but I was always interested to know why he chose the music. Well.
Buenos tardes. It is time for the Detroit Tigers gambling update with Gramanito Couch and Jason Nick.
If you can tell by the fringe offensive Mexican accent he uses, I'm pretty sure where that came from.
My wife thought that was so offensive. She was like, "You cannot play that." I was like, "We're going to." I'm sorry.
Ooh. Dude, there is fucking breaking news all over this. You put your foot down?
Once in a while. Yeah.
You just said, She didn't really. Honestly, she didn't like that, huh?
I mean, I said it in a very meek tone.
Well, I guess we're going to.
We're going to.
As you're walking out the door. What was that?
Nothing. Well, tell him we're not going to play it. Bullshit.
Wow, that's breaking news. Mr. Benjen flew home listening to 2 shows in a row. 4 hours of you two is a really fucking lot. How many straight hours of the other could each of you take?
We thought about doing a marathon, like a one of those call-in PBS telethon type deals.
Oh, Jesus.
We could get
do
to
that
8
in
hours.
July.
8 hours.
An 8-hour show?
No, we couldn't do.
Fuck.
No, and I'll be honest. Like,
what kind of breaks would we
we've
get?
talked about this before. We feel it the second it goes over 2 hours. Like anything, like 159 goes like a breeze. 201, it's like, fuck.
Well, it's because we
long.
don't take any breaks usually, which is fine. Or we take one that's like 2 minutes long. But I'm saying if you're going to go that extended amount of time, like these radio stations, they have those 4-hour shows, but they're how many of the hours commercial breaks? It's like 35 minutes of spots or whatever.
Oh, it's like college football. It's horrible entertainment.
Yeah, so you can go to the break room or go to the bathroom.
No, and we have
not if you're couch because he has a steel freaking bladder
true.
apparently.
We have internal clocks in our head. I think we kind of know when this is running, this is dragging. And that said, there are shows we've done 2.5-hour shows that felt quick, and we've done 90-minute shows that felt long. And it sort of depends on the material. And you guys provide great material.
How's this one right now? So far,
well, we broke it up weirdly, so
that was nice.
Yeah, it was good.
Thanks, Bob. Mr. Benjen, why are you two hung up on BMWs as a status symbol? I bought a 228 M Sport with 16K miles for about 21K. You can't afford that?
That's a pretty good deal.
Well, no, it's a figure of speech. I was talking about Dr. J-Mo and my yuck mouth paying for his BMW.
Yeah.
He drives the F-150. I could have said Mercedes, I guess. It just doesn't flow as well, but really it's no. Mr. Benjen, Couch, what the hell is the matter with you? You just outed your wife's maiden name. Don't you know that's an identity theft's wet dream?
Yeah, but I'm an identity thief's nightmare because I got the vacation time to, like, if you come after me, no big deal. But if you came after my wife, and I would spend all my time ruining your life. I would find out who you are. I would use all my Delta miles to fly to where you were. I would destroy your life. That is a promise.
I really can't believe she found the Tigers update thing offensive. That's so great.
Yeah.
That's better than anything you gave up. Richard Kane, how long will it take for MSU to understand they need to hire team-specific GMs, especially football, but also basketball, sooner rather than later, or fall behind even further in the contemporary recruiting environment?
Well, they have something. I mean, they've hired a new person in some sort of realm like that in football. They've got in basketball. Garrett is a sort of directs the NIL, and so in terms of title, they have some of that. And in basketball, especially, you're going to have Izzo is going to be in charge of certain things, but they have enough of a staff now, and I don't think that's an issue for them. It's a matter of title mostly. I think they understand what's needed in both those programs.
Richard Kane, how is Charitable Gifts America doing NILs for multiple teams across the country? Not a conflict of interest situation.
Well, because it's a big, like, this is Sparta is the actual MSU collective, which is a wing of Charitable Gifts America. I mean, it's not just you can give to whatever you want, but like it's because it's I guess it's not an official collective for MSU, for example. It's just the lever, it's the mechanism that helps them give, and so they do that for a lot of different schools. I don't see the issue.
Pete Duran, Jason, and Graham, have either of you watched much Family Guy over the years? Who is your favorite character, and why is it Mr. Hey Bear? Also, Graham, the more I listen, the more you sound like Brian.
Do I sound like Brian from? I don't watch a lot of Family Guy. I've watched a few times.
Family Guy and South Park are like the NHL and the NHL playoffs. Like, I know I should be watching them. I have. And I know I'm missing out on great content. I just don't do it. I don't know why. I know they're both. I know it's all great content, like Family Guy, all of that shit I mentioned. So I don't know. And
never
get to it.
By the way, to the previous question from Richard Gain with Charitable Gifts America, it's not like Charitable Gifts America is rooting for MSU, rooting for this school. It's just they are. If you're a donor, they're providing the avenue for you to give. So it's not them themselves are not a. It's more of a system than anything else.
Fart Soup, Jason, have you ever fought a horse? Seems like an Ovid thing to me. No, I would never fight a horse.
Sounds mean.
I love a horse. I love horses.
Plus,
Why would you fight a horse?
Plus,
I mean,
an angry horse would kill you.
yeah, but I mean, like, what reason would you do? Like, they're so intimidating.
Yeah.
Like, why would you, like, punch it in the nose? I mean, that's just,
Yeah.
I don't get it. Fart Soup. Last week I heard Couch say I was fine with Mel Tucker's philosophy. Unfortunately, I was shaving and didn't catch the rest of that statement. Wild guess. He's talking about the phone sex, right?
Exactly. That was it. Yeah.
You can rewind Fart Soup. Like, you can go back. And Fart Soup Couch likes to say things like, that's a great segment idea. We'll have to do it. Or, that's a great question. We'll have to ask our listeners. That MF has not once followed through on any of these, and we all know it. Who's he fooling?
So part of this is not even a lack of want to follow through. Part of this is we don't write some of this stuff down, and I don't remember it. If I ever
is that a good excuse?
No, but if I ever say that, I should have just a file that with all these things. If I ever say that and to something you've said, then please just DM me too and remind
And
me.
he'll ignore that too.
No, because we've had, sometimes there are ideas that I'm like, that was a great idea. What was that? And because I do think there are great ideas that our listeners have, and we should incorporate.
We need an intern. Hans Jurgen. Is Antonio Brown the fear shooter? Free AB.
Yeah. Crack the case.
It's unbelievable.
Crack the case.
Did you hear about AB?
No, what do you do?
He's wanted for
is he?
attempted murder.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't even know this was a
dude,
plan.
he shot at some dude. He shot at some dude 2 weeks ago at outside of I forget where it was, and it just kind of went away. Like there's video of him. You don't see him actually pulling the trigger, I don't think, but he had a gun in his hand. And because I heard it, and I was like, dude, is AB is he bulletproof? No pun intended.
It does not surprise
The guy can just get away with whatever, and then now they're looking for him. Upper Deck Jerk Guy. What's the best fucking swear word, and why is it fuck?
It's a great word.
It's like the Wednesday show when you changed heck to shit.
Yes.
You apologize for saying heck. That was great.
It is a great word.
Yeah. Upper Deck Jerk Guy. Will there come a time when all the new players for college basketball will be transfers?
You hope not, because I don't think that'll be something that fans will enjoy. And I can't imagine a world where that is something that people can stomach. You do wonder if you get to employees and transfers, and it's a whole new world 20 years from now, and you're signing rosters, and you look down, and it's like, I guess ask Illinois, because they go through this. And some of them are freshmen coming in, but they're all new players every year. And, people didn't love that team at Illinois. Once they started to lose, there was not a lot of, let's see if this can come back. They were just kind of tired and ready to move on.
Next one from the Jerk Guy. What do we do?
Well, which sport?
Which sport would be the funniest to watch if players consumed 6 beers first? Skeet shooting.
Yeah. Of the major sports, it would probably be...
You can't say hockey because those guys,
yeah,
there's beer league hockey guys that do it anyway, and those guys can hammer beers.
Baseball would be pretty funny because you'd have guys still throwing pretty hard, but they'd be less accurate hitting guys, and guys trying to swing and hit something. Baseball might be pretty entertaining.
Is it capped at 6 beers, though?
Yeah.
Some of these guys have a tolerance.
They can deal with it. Football wouldn't be, because it'd just be so... You need execution in football. Basketball...
Dudes puking.
Yeah, it wouldn't be great.
All right, and finally, from the Jerk Guy, what are the chances Scooble gets injured as soon as he signs a new contract?
Like 97, 98%. But that's okay. You still sign him. At some point he'll have an
What a question to end the week.
injury. Yeah, thanks. To
Jesus.
end a week and a half.
I'm talking to you. You put these together.
Well, I always believe his in order, and that's how he had them. So, yeah, he usually is better at finishing with a classic than a downer like that. We appreciate all you guys for listening to both parts today. If you've missed part 1, this is part 2. So there's part 1 exists as well. We appreciate Groovy Donuts. Go to groovydonuts.com. Place your order for Father's Day for any event, or just swing on by. 2 locations, Lake Lansing Road and East Lansing, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thursday through Sunday. We appreciate Midtown Brewing Company. Great spot for a date night. Disney Trivia, Thursday the 26th of June. We appreciate our friends at Firekeepers and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. We'll be back Monday the 23rd of June. I'm gone next week. Jason's going to be dead on a golf course. So, good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Touch the roof.